Welcome. I hope you're feeling great after last week's lesson and that you've spent a lot of time in nature, that your mind is beginning to behave itself, and that you are beginning to feel more joyous and leaving behind the mud, finding this new state of awareness, this place that you haven't experienced before. This is the beginning of the staircase that you're going to be going towards. So well done for all the hard work. I know it's not easy, but hopefully you're enjoying it as well, and that you're getting the results that I hope you are. So this week is all about purpose. And this is a question that I get asked the most, really. What is my purpose? Why am I here? What am I here to do? So it isn't that easy, this lesson for me, because normally I work with clients one-to-one and I do their soul plan and we do a reading. So what I'm going to do is explain how you can do this at home with the same books and the same tools, so that you can do this for yourself, which will save you lots of money and is a beautiful experience. Your soul plan, which is based on the phonetical vibrations of your birth name, is similar to numerology, which is on your birth date. There are 22 emotions in both of these. And I give you both options because one is very quick. Numerology is quite quick to do on your birth date. I'm going to show you how. Soul Plan takes a lot longer, and is your journey. It tells you your whole journey on Earth, what your challenges are, what your goals are, what your destiny, your soul destiny, why were you born? And once you start finding this information, you just feel solid. You kind of know where you're going. But anyway, I'll explain as we go through, and hopefully you'll understand how I'm explaining this to you so you can do it at home. So we have two systems that we're looking at today, as said: numerology, which is on your birth date, and soul plan reading, which is based on the phonetical sound vibration of your birth name, both of which you have chosen before you came to Earth, which sits in with the astrology, sits in with different eras. It's much bigger than we can ever imagine, but we don't need to bother ourselves with all of this big stuff. We need to stay in the moment and to do these baby steps, and it will all start becoming clear when you get to the end of the course. So numerology, based on your birth date, was heavily used in the 14th, 15th, 16th century by Plato, Aristotle, Freud, Pythagoras. They, without the distraction of society, mobile phones, computers, all of that, we were much more in that time period, much more in line with the stars, with energy. This different way of thinking, this connectivity, they were much more connected. And modern scientists and historians are beginning to look at numerology in a slightly different way, because it's so accurate and gives you so much knowledge that modern day scientists are beginning to sort of think that there's more to this than we know, and there definitely is. So I have done all of this board is on me to demonstrate how to do this. So to work out what number you are in numerology, you take your birth date and you add all the separate digits to give you a total. Zeros don't have a numerical value, although more modern day thinking is that everything has to come from the zero or the numbers. This is another whole lesson in itself. But for today, just discount the zeros, don't add them up in the total. So I am the 10th of February 1963, and my total is 22. So once you have your total, you add the two digits from your total to give you the end number. So I am a 22-4. I am a master builder. There are 3 masters, an 11-2, a 22-4, and a 33-6. But like I said, all souls, everyone is the same. We will have been different things all the way through our existence as we're growing on this planet and other planets too. So how do you read these digits? So the 2 digits that start your number are your challenges. So in my case, a 2 is cooperation and balance. And I have 2 of them, which means that my challenge is even more difficult. My challenge has been to stay in the moment, to not overgive, to then withdraw, to constantly be going like this. My purpose, my goal, which is the end digit, is the 4, which means process and stability. So this is very much about making sure that I've got strong foundations, that I am making my castle impenetrable, that it can never fall over. If we're constantly building castles in the air without having solid foundations, which is maybe why I've been an actual physical property developer and builder for 30 years, learning and mastering this step, see where the treasure is. There's always a reason for everything. This really helps me in a very easy way know more about myself. So the book that goes with numerology is The Life You Were Born to Live by Dan Millman. Now, this book is amazing. I use it all the time. If I want to, well, I know most of the numbers now anyway, but I can always have a look in here. There are about 5 pages on each of the numbers, which will tell you about who you are, and will tell you about relationships and work and money, and it will give you an indication and a bit of an idea about who you are depending on what number you are. So, for example, I am a 22-4. So you would go and read the section, the index in the front, find the number, go to the page and read the section on yourself. Make some notes in your journal. You can highlight the areas if you like. And at the end of the section on you, there are spiritual laws. And these can be found, the page numbers are here and you can find them in the back of the book. These laws help sculpt your lessons. They give you a lot of indication about things that you need to learn to help you fully jump into your numbers, for you to wear the shoes. It's like having a pair of 22-4 shoes on. Now, when you've done that, when you finish reading that, I highly recommend that you then go and read the 2 as well. So in my case, I have 2 2s, to go back and read your challenges. And again, read exactly the same. So when you've done this, you will understand a lot about yourself very easily. This is like a half an hour homework job, very easy. But you can also do your friends and your family and your work colleagues and your children. And it helps you understand a little bit more about everyone who's around you and why they are the way they are. So this book is a brilliant book and I highly recommend it. So we know that we have made agreements with our parents, our mum and our dad, and our family and our network. We have chosen our date of birth and our name. We basically choose this life. So the life that I've chosen for myself, which is based on my goal is what is dragging me forward in life, will be indicative to my soul plan, which goes a lot more in detail about your purpose and your journey and why you're on earth in this lifetime. So, as I said before, there are 22 energies in numerology and in Soul Plan. Even though there's more letters in Soul Plan than 22, they are then given different numerical values. I'll explain this in a second. Now, this is a really nice little exercise to do for your homework. So have your journal ready so that you can take some notes out. Before I show you the example, I'm going to explain a little bit about being in flow with the universe, because there is a natural flow. So in soul ages and everything to do with souls, there's 7. But in numerology, everything is about 9. Everything comes in 9-year cycles. So if you imagine that this is one cycle, this is a 9-year period. And when you are in flow with this cycle, it's like the river, the boat on the river that I told you about. You're in flow. Everything kind of works in universal patterns and laws. So, for example, I started this business in a year 1. So I'm absolutely within this rhythmical 9-year cycle. And the first year is dark and cold and hard and scary and difficult. And it's a little bit like the seeds in the ground and nothing's germinated, and it's the beginning of this cycle. Year 2 is where the roots begin to start going through the ground, starts to get some substance. You're beginning to grow. Year 3 is not only have you got your roots strong, but you're now getting baby shoots coming out of the ground. And this is the year 2019, that we're in a year 3 at the moment. Year 4 is stronger shoots with leaves now, becoming more established. So if you were starting your business, for example, in a year 1, by the time that you're getting to a year 4, you're well on your way. You know, you're strong, you've got good, strong foundations, you're beginning to show yourself to the world, and you're in line with this universal energy. Year 5 is full sunflowers. You are opening yourself to the world. It helps you have patience knowing all of this. Year 6 is where the seeds start dropping to ground. You've been to the highlight of this cycle, and you're beginning to give back now. You're being able to put something back into the world. Year 7, you have lost all the petals. You are beginning to conserve your energy for the period of harvesting, allowing yourself to receive all of the efforts of your hard work. Year 8, you are now kind of ready to go towards the end in reflection, to look back on how you've succeeded and what you might want to do in your next cycle. And year 9, you are back to earth, ready. Now you're making your plans about how you're going to move forward in the next cycle. So when you understand about this 9-year cycle, you can then do this exercise, which I found really, really useful and was really interesting to look at. So if you take the present year now, so for this, in this example, let's look at 2020, which would be a 4-year, and how you establish what year we are in. You add the digits of the year, the same as you do with your birth date. So 2 and 2 is 4, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 and 2 is 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 1 and 1 is 2. And you see how it works. But when you get to the 9-year periods, you put these lines in. So I want you, for your homework, to write the current year, work out what year number it is, and do the numbers all the way back to the year that you were born. Then break them into 9-year cycles, and then write next to the years the important things that happened in your life. When you got married, when your parents died, all of the important things. And number 1, you will look at your life like this on one page and go, my goodness, is that all? Kind of makes you realize, why do we get so worried about everything? But it will also show you a pattern that works with this universal cycle, which is just fascinating. For example, the financial crash happened in 2007, and this was a 9 year. So this would be the beginning, getting ready to start a fresh era. So do this just as an exercise for yourself, just to see where these patterns are coming. It will help you in the future where you see that your years are between, say, 5 and 6, or if your years are better for your numbers in a year 2 and 3. It helps you plan. Right, I'm going to start my business then. I'm going to have my children then. I'm going to get married then. Whatever it is in your life, it kind of just gives you a bit of confidence about how to orchestrate your life and to be in universal flow. But each year has a different flavor. Every year that we've been through and are going to go through have a different flavor. And you can find out about that flavor exactly the same way that you did for your birth numbers. So next year is 2020, and this is a 4-year process in stability. So for the population, will be a year of everyone buckling down and setting strong foundations for the future. For the year 2019 was all about the throat chakra, speaking and being heard. 2018 was all about cooperation and balance, about overgiving and undergiving and finding this stability. So it's absolutely fascinating, and you can do as much work on this as you like. You might get addicted like I did. It's amazing, and to feel that you've got some kind of idea about how life is going to take you forward. So soul plan reading is slightly different. So this soul plan is derived from Hebrew numerology, which is ancient. Numerology has been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And this system has been adapted by Blue Marsden, who is the author of the Soul Plan book that goes with this module. Blue Marsden runs the Holistic Healing College in London, and he actually does events all around the world. And his book is being translated in many languages as well. If you get a chance to go and do one of his courses, I would highly recommend it. They're brilliant. That's where I trained to become a soul plan reader. And it's just a beautiful system. It gives you so much direction. So unlike numerology, which is based on numbers, Soul Plan is based on the vibration of each letter in your birth name. So they have this 6-pointed star, which you use to do your numbers. If you were working with me one-to-one, all of this would be done for you in advance, but this book tells you how to do it. So there are 2 triangles. The first triangle is your worldly triangle because it points to Earth. And this is for the first 40 to 45 years of your life. Gives you a really good idea of what your challenges, what your talents, what your goals are. The second triangle is the one that points to the divine, and again has your challenges, spiritual challenges, talents, and goals. And when all of these points have been worked through during each lifetime, you end up coming to your soul destiny, which is the number in the center of this 6-pointed star. So this soul plan is a holographic imprint of the soul. And because it's not really spiritual etiquette to do somebody else's soul plan, even if you know what their birth name is, without asking, because what you're doing is you're looking inside of them and seeing their true essence. So if you want to do somebody's soul plan, please ask them first. It's not the same with numerology. This is a much easier, more simpler system, if you like, but soul plan is really kind of looking in somebody's soul. So ask them first. So to calculate your own name and do your own chart, in the front of this book, in the introduction, there is, when you purchase this book, you get 10 free goes to go register. There's a password in the first part of the introduction. Go onto the website they give you, put in the names of who you want to do your soul plans for, and they will automatically come back. There is a manual way of doing it in the front as well, if you prefer that. It's quite complicated. So if you maybe want to do it by hand, and then you could check online, and you get 10 free goes, so that you've got enough to be able to do your family and your close friends. So you read each number of your chart. So I've done my chart here. This is based on my married name. You can do your birth name and your overlay name. I've just done my married name on here, just to show you. So how we read your chart is we always start with your talent. What are you good at? What will help you overcome your challenges? So for me, mine is a 7-7. The signs in this book are really beautiful, and if you're doing work on this, I would highly recommend, in the beginning of the book, there is a section that shows you the signs for the 22 energies, and they're kind of indicative of what they mean. So when you're doing your chart and work on this, really, it's nice to get into the creative flow of using the signs that go with your numbers. So for example, a 7-7 is, these are 3 links. It's like a magnet bringing people together. So every sign has a flavor. You use your talents. So we're looking at the worldly triangle first, because the first 45 years of your life. You use your talents to overcome your challenges, worldly challenges, to reach your worldly goals. So using your talents, overcome your challenges to reach your goals. And then you do exactly the same for your spiritual talents, to overcome your spiritual challenges to reach your spiritual goals, to then be ready to see what your soul destiny is. What is the purpose of your lifetime, which is a little bit like the goal in numerology. So when you've written or had your chart done for you and you've got all your numbers, you're then ready to start expanding your chart. Now, I like doing things on a big scale, as you can see here. So I would highly recommend getting a big piece of paper, and this will take you weeks to do this, a little bit every day, finding out more and more about yourself to build this picture, this expanded view of who you are. So your titles to go on each of those boxes will come from the book, and then you are going to delve into here to learn more about you, to expand it. So for example, if you were a 5-5, which is what my spiritual goal is, when it's a double number, it is a double intensity. This is a strong challenge or goal or talent. It's like double energy. So you would go through the specific section in the book. So this is 5. A 5 is always goes with a 5. And you would read all the things about yourself, and you will highlight them so that you can come back to them later. You will do this for every single number that is on your chart. Now, if, for example, you are, let's say, a 13-4, which would be my worldly goal. Now, you've got 2 different numbers. You've got a 13 and you've got a 4. So you would go to the section that's 13, and 13 always comes with a 4. But you would then go back and read the 4 independently as well, because you've got 2 different numbers. So the energies are written in this section, but for expanded learning, you would go back and read the 4. So you'll go through all the numbers on your chart. You will highlight everything that jumps out at you and goes, oh my goodness, that's so me, as your first step. Then you will get this huge sheet of paper. You will draw your 6-pointed star with your numbers that you have gained from working them out in this book or getting them from online. And you will have the basic titles in each of those sections, like I have. And then you will go through your highlighted bits that you've done in the book, and you will start expanding and writing all of this information that you have gleaned from the book. So what you're doing is you're starting to see this picture arriving of who you are, what challenges you're facing, which talents are going to support you through your life, and where you're supposed to be in terms of goals. It's so specific in here that it pretty much tells you what career path you're going to go on. Mine is, for example, that I'm a profound spiritual teacher to teachers of this world and not yet. This helped me when I was coming from my past career, where I lost everything. Being a property developer for so long in my life, I didn't kind of think there was anything else for me. I was really good at it, and it was where I was. But then when I did all this work on my soul plan, it showed me the path that I was supposed to be taking, which is why the universe gave me a little nudge and said, you're on the wrong path, and to move forward. So I can't explain how amazing this soul plan system is. It's going to take you some time. I mean, it may even take you 6 months to do the extended work on this. You'll keep going back and reading more. But in the end, when you finish this expansion, and it can be on wallpaper, as long as this room, if you like, however much you need to, what you'll do then is you will look at all of these specific areas. You'll be able to highlight about 2 or 3 sentences that explain exactly why you're here. And knowing what your positive side of each of your sections are, it's kind of like throwing your fishing rod and wheeling yourself in to the positive, knowing that the challenge underneath is just something you've got to go through. It helps you become unstuck. And it's a little bit like in numerology as well. All of these things are giving you an idea of where you're going, some direction, some indication to help you find your path. So when you have finished all of this and you have done all of this work, there's a lot of work this week. With my private clients, I give them 6 weeks to do this homework because there's so much to do, and I really want them to take time, but it's makes such a difference to their personal development. And when you've done all that, you can then come to purpose. So again, this is another step. And I would highly recommend asking yourself these questions, because this will help you establish purpose, not only from what you've gleaned in these 2 books, but will help you now take this to the next step to make it more worldly. So by asking yourself, if money was no object, what would I do in life? Now, this is regardless of money. You've already now started getting present. You are looking at the world in a slightly different way. So just be creative. Work from here. Don't be in your head. What would you do if money was no object? Get this down. Write all these things down. Kind of make yourself a worksheet or in your journal, and write all the things down. So now you're beginning to listen to your soul, if you like. What am I passionate about? Only you can answer that, because I'm not with you, but there will be a passion. And remember, I said earlier in an earlier lesson, if time just disappears when you're doing something, that's got something to do with your passion, because time disappears and you just get lost. So remember all of these things that you've been learning over the weeks, and stick that down as well. What am I passionate about? It's also about, I was talking about your children. The things that make you happy and you're passionate about got to go at the top of your list, not what you're going to make the most money or that you're going to be the most famous in. they're irrelevant. They are not about happiness. It's almost taking the model that we've been taught and turning it on its head. What makes you happy? This has to be your number one question. Now, it could be to a cup of Earl Grey in the morning, it could be to living on the beach, could be to have my family all around me, it could be to be living in New York, it could be whatever. Write down the list of all the things that make you happy. Music in the morning, whatever it is. Those things are so important, because when you start building the picture, if you haven't ticked all those happiness things in your reality that you're creating, it's not going to be fulfilling your life. Number one is happiness. If you're happy, you will have a high vibration, you will manifest what you need, and you will live in abundance. Abundance in the heart and a bit abundance financially. The universe will be in cooperation with you. You will be in flow and everything will be easier. What are my unique talents? Well, you're going to find out what your unique talents are in here when you read your talent section. And you'll know, am I good at networking? Am I good at creative concepts? Am I an amazing chef? Am I a great teacher? Whatever it is. So again, write all these things down on here. How can I best serve humanity using my talents? Well, you can't answer this until you know what your talents are. When you do, how could those be used to serve humanity? We are all here to serve. Whether you're a receptionist, a hairdresser, a photographer, a teacher, a businessman, we're all here to cooperate with each other to make the world go round. So find out how you can best serve humanity. And remember, the universe likes it very much when you are doing things from a place of love and that you are in flow. It can help you better. And if you're stuck on this first question, you could ask yourself, what would I do even if I wasn't getting paid? What would I walk 20 miles in the snow every morning to do without getting paid? It would have to be something you really love to be able to do that. But you kind of get what I'm trying to explain. So when you have the answers to all of these questions, you have a basic idea on your numerology about your goals and your challenges. And you have spent the time working out, deciphering your soul plan and what your goals, your challenges, and your talents are to work out your soul destiny, and answered all of these questions. Can you see the picture that you can build about yourself? It is the most amazing knowledge. I know exactly where I am. I know why I've been where I've been, and I know exactly where I'm going for the whole of my life. I'm not saying that I can't change, because we have free will. We can all do whatever we want. The soul is not in a rush. We can take longer to go through our lifetimes if we wish. But just on that note, our soul designs this life for us. This is the life you designed for you. Your soul would never, ever design something you couldn't handle. So it may be that you've got some big challenges in this lifetime. Could take you a sequence, could take you 3 or 4 lifetimes to go through this. But do your best. And when you know where you're going, it makes it so much easier to get there. And also, as an overall knowing, be aware what year we are in numerology. What is the flavor? What is the power that's behind you that could put wind in your sails to help you a little bit better during the current year that you're in watching this? So I hope you have a lot of fun with this lesson. It takes time. It's really worth putting the energy and the time into it to find out more about yourself. And when you do, celebrate it with making a beautiful board. I've made a huge one for myself, and I follow it and I keep an eye on it all the time so I know where I am. And when you understand more about this through doing your own charts, you always know where you are. It's another pillow. It's a bit more stability. It's another buffer. You just kind of go, okay, that's where I'm going. I might go a bit this way and I might go a bit this way, but I pretty much know where my river is going. And I'm certainly want to be on my boat with no oars, enjoying the sunshine rather than trying to swim upstream and being more difficult. So I will see you next week. Don't get too stressed. You've got plenty of time to do this. You can take your whole life if you like. I just wanted to explain how to do it. And it's kind of a bit of a break from the mind after we've done 3 lessons on that. So this one's a nice little change up in the middle. And next week, we are going to be working on forgiveness, which means that we're going to jump over here for a little bit. So there may be some tears next week, but don't worry, they're good tears. And yes, just keep up with all the things that I've been teaching you, your meditation, your journaling, your healthy eating, your kindness, your gratefulness, keeping your vibration high, and keep yourself firmly fixed here. You must be feeling different by now with your energy. So enjoy this week, and I will see you next week for lesson 5, forgiveness. And it's with much pleasure and love that I have the opportunity to teach you, and I will see you next week. Thank you very much.